Welcome back to Thick Riff Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are jamming on the brand new MixWave Sleep Token drum kit. This thing sounds pretty massive. It sounds like Sleep Token, dude. Check this thing out, man. But more importantly, it sounds like the sundowning era of Sleep Token, which I think the drum sound for the first two albums was just so like identifiable. You know, it was very Sleep Token, and it was very, it was much more unique than the drum sound that they have now. But yeah, this library it's a vibe for sure. So I've got a little riff idea that you heard a little bit of at the beginning of this video, and I would love to flesh it out. It is definitely a Sleep Token inspired kind of thing, so it should be cool. So let's try it. We might get a little heavier than Sleep Token gets. I also had the idea to pitch shift kind of in the middle of the riff to change up the chord progression a little bit. I'm gonna have to automate that. So I'm gonna use the transpose knob in the Soldano plugin to do that. Okay, so starting at 5, we wanna pitch down, how many? I think we wanna pitch down like 7 semitones. Yeah, I think so. 2, 4. Yeah, and that's actually the only time it happens. Yeah, it's cool. It just like changes the chord halfway through, which I think is sick. All right, let's get a scratch take of this real quick. I don't know, I just improvised a thing at the end and I didn't like it. All right, I think that's good enough to get some drums going. I've got a little bit of a groove idea here where I don't want the snares to be like on 2 and 4 or just 3. I kind of want them to be offset a little bit. Something like that could be really cool. It actually reminds me a lot of the song Higher off of Sundowning. Okay, admittedly, I have not listened to much new Sleep Token. The album they did before this most recent one, I didn't really listen to that much. And then this new album, I haven't listened to yet. But yeah, Sundowning, easily my favorite album by them. But anyway, yeah, that drum part kind of reminds me of the bridge of that song, which is really cool. 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's good. All right, let's find our cymbals. The cymbal selection in here is pretty sick. Nice. Okay, cool. There's a kick that I'm missing somewhere. Right there. Okay, sweet. Let's track this riff for real. I like the drum groove a lot. I would love to use some of the grooves that the plugin comes with. Maybe not like an entire groove as it is, but I would love to use maybe some fills and stuff from in here, because all this stuff is programmed by the Sleep Token drummer. So it would be really sick to get some of his flavor in here. Okay, cool. I think we'll go like 4 bars at a time. That's groovy, dude. I love this. That was a good take. That was also a good take. I forgot to do the slide up at the end though. Hold up. Cool. I just want the last note of that take. Okay, those were good, I think. Should I just go straight to the open or do the slide again? I think I want the slide. Good take. Good take, dude. We do need to copy and paste the automation though. There we go. Nice. That sounds good, brother. Okay, I also had that riff idea, which I think is pretty sick. I just like that theme. Like, it's super simple, but like, it is kind of like a little earworm thing. Like, it catches your ear. And we're pitch shifted down to double drop A, so that's fun. I feel like we should cut into this riff a little bit to make us a transition into the heavy thing. But let me get a scratch takedown real quick. That's more important. Nice. Dude, it's a the first part of that riff is just an entire bar of just, that's ridiculous. All right, yeah. So I want to try to think of a transition into that. Oh, I mean, first of all, we could use one of these grooves that has a fill on it. All right, that's got some insane stuff in it. Let's try to do something with that. Let's see what we can do. What's this sound like? I like this bar right here. Yeah, let's take just this. See what we can do with it over here. Get some of these toms in here. I'm thinking we could push this forward and give ourselves like a whole bar without drums. And we can use that bar to make a cool little transition into the next heavy riff. Nice. Yeah, that's cool. I just want to kick right there on the downbeat. Sweet. Oh, yeah. That'll be sick. Hold up. Nice, dude. That's so gross. So we're using part of that riff to just transition us into it. I'm wondering if there are any grooves in here that would work for this, where we can just kind of use most of the hands and then program our own kicks. Yeah. That'll do. Okay, we just need to change the kicks up a little bit. Let's move that floor tom to be a kick. Should definitely double crash on the downbeat. Another snare there would be sick. Bop, bop. Some accent crashes too. Nice. This riff is sick. While I tune, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on Sleep Token in general. Do you like them? Do you not like them? What's the vibe? Because I feel like they get a lot of unnecessary hate. I think they do get a lot of hate for like just being popular, and that's weird. That's like uncool. Like finally a heavy band gets popular, and like heavy music in general is becoming more popular, and then metal fans are like mad about it. It's like, dude, we finally made it. What do you mean? I mean, I get the Sleep Token criticism in general. It's not it's not for everybody, but I've heard people call them coworker music. Like, what about Sleep Token is coworker music? Coworker music is like Benson Boone. All right. Anyway. I want to do like a little pause there. Forgot about that. Let's do that in the drums. So when we hit the repetition, it hits real hard. That was a good take overall, though. We can keep that. I've also heard people call Sleep Token like not metal, which is like, I guess you're not entirely wrong to say that they're not always metal, but like they're not metal, you know? Dude, they get heavy. Like, for real. Let me, all right, let's get distracted here for a second. I mean, we could take like one of their more popular songs as an example. Like, are you gonna tell me that's not metal? That's crazy. Come on, guys. Let's be for real here. Like, no, Sleep Token is not always heavy, but like, that's disgusting. Dude, people are so weird about this band. I think metal fans who have been metal fans their entire lives and are like my age, like late 20s, early 30s, and they're just like, I think people are feeling weird about it because metal is like getting popular. Huge thanks to Sleep Token for that. And like, people are just getting weird. People are getting weird about this band. All right, let's get back to this riff. Dude, actually, so I originally came up with this riff on bass, by the way. That's where I came up with the idea to go down lower like that. Just the way this tuning is working on guitar. And me not having a 9-string, it just doesn't work that way, so I had to pitch shift it. But you know, guys, should I get a 9-string guitar? Part of me kind of wants a 9-string guitar, like a little bit, just a little bit. All right, let's track bass. That was a good one. That was a good little take right there. Ooh, that first note's looking a little rough. Let's redo that. Is that just how it's looking? Guys, sometimes I have a little bit of a toxic audio engineer trait where I look at the waveform and I'm like, that doesn't look like a good waveform, so I redo it, but it sounds fine. That sounds fine. It bothers me that the waveform looks like that. All right, whatever. It's fine. Okay, here we don't have to pitch shift on the bass because the bass can just do that. Nice. Oh yeah, we should make a little lo-fi track for that. I don't know if I've mentioned this on Thick Riff Thursday before, but I've been using Decapitator for lo-fi stuff to like, instead of just EQing it to be lo-fi, like having Decapitator add a little character to it. That's a little much, but you know, you get the point. That riff, man. I love that pause at the end. That's so heavy. Okay, we've got 2 riffs here. This is really sick so far. God damn it, dude. This album is so good. This album is really, really good. Come on, man. Like, completely unbiased. You can look back at their music and be like, okay, that's why they're popular. That's why this resonates with so many people. Is like, they especially, dude, this is over 5 years ago, man. They were doing shit that nobody else was doing. Now the landscape is completely different. It's changed a lot. A lot of metal bands are really popular right now. But dude, over 5 years ago, they were just doing shit that nobody did. And like, it was cool. I'm not like a diehard Sleep Token fan. Like, I've barely listened to their last 2 albums, but like, you can appreciate what they've done for heavy music and appreciate what they've been doing for a while now. Like, it's sick. They're really good. All right. Anyway, go on a tangent here just because like metal fans hate metal more than anybody else does. It's so weird. But anyway, sweet. We have some sick Sleep Token inspired riffs. Let me take you guys through the drum mix a little bit so you guys can see what I've got going on. I'm running this library multi-out of Contact into Logic so I can do all the processing I want to do in Logic. Got a drum bus here. It's nothing crazy. Like, this is a pretty bare bones mix at the moment. I'm sure it will evolve over time. I've got this FG Gray compressor and then this monster compressor here that is running in parallel. I've got it at about 27.5%. And these are doing a lot, by the way. Like, if I bypass these, solo the drums here. If I bypass these, you'll hear it a lot. And then turn them on. So that's what we've got going on there. They have a mix button. Some of them I've got turned on, some of them are turned off. Oh, actually, okay, it looks like I've got them all turned on except the snare. So the snare is the only one that's not turned on. I did all the snare processing in Logic. So I've got that mix button turned on in the MixWave interface, and then I've got additional processing going on. So for the kick, I've got this EQ. It looks a little crazy, but essentially I'm just scooping it and then I'm taming some of the high-end clickiness that I was hearing. It was a little clicky for my taste. So I'm using Pro Q4 to do some dynamic stuff up here. It just felt like it needed a little taming up there. I can bypass this so you can see how it sounds un-EQ'd. And then with the EQ on, after that, I've got a compressor, Pro C2. Then after that, I've got Saturn on the snare. Got a little EQ. Getting rid of some of that ring up here. Adding a little body to that fundamental of the snare drum. And then a little top end to the attack. Some compression going on here too, of course. Then for the toms, it's all essentially the same, just little tweaks here and there, just so I can cater Saturn and the EQ to each tom individually. Just a little shaping. Didn't touch the hats, didn't touch the ride. Overheads, I'm compressing the overheads. For the room mics, taming some of that boomy low end, and then scooping it a little bit here in the middle. And then Saturn on the rooms too. This is kind of just an approach that I took from Buster. He likes to make his rooms very explosive sounding. So he kind of goes through and just kind of saturates a few bands, kind of makes the room mics pop a little bit. We can A/B it here. So that's with, without. Yeah, pretty cool. Cymbal spot mics here, I've got them all routed to the same channel. So the China has one, Splashes and stuff I think have spot mics too. I just wanted to compress it a little bit. I like the detail that I get from these, and I kind of I'm able to blend that into taste. A cool thing about this library is it has this trash mic here, which I didn't do any processing to in Logic, but I would like to point it out just because it's a cool character thing. That's what it sounds like. Obviously, I've got the processing turned on in MixWave or in Contact, but yeah, it's just like a crushed mono room mic. These drum sounds have a lot of character and they're very much Sleep Token. And they sound great. Love all the cymbals. Love the cymbal selection in here. Anyway, let's throw the mastering chain on and listen to these riffs. Here we go. Nice. That's awesome. I'm really glad I used some of these grooves from the plugin here. It just made this part like a lot cooler. I was just able to go through and match up the kicks and match up some of the hits to fit the riff. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Thick Riff Thursday. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and the subscribe button. Huge shout out to MixWave for sponsoring this video and sending me this plugin. If you guys want to hear more with this kit, let me know in the comments. All right, I will see you guys next week. Peace.